Emeka and Shalwa escorted Remi to his room. Emeka said to Remi, "Calm down, Remi." Remi barked at him, "Don't tell me to calm down. You saw him coming out of her room half-dressed." "But he said nothing happened," Emeka replied. Remi responded, "He is my friend, and he is not supposed to get involved with my sister. Have you ever thought about the possibility that they could be in love?" Emeka asked. "Love my foot," Remi replied as he paced back and forth, frustrated. Emeka and Shalwa exchanged concerned looks, unsure of how to console him. "Remi, you need to hear them out before jumping to conclusions," Shalwa suggested gently. Remi scoffed, dismissing the idea. "I can't believe Babs would do this to me. After all these years of friendship. You can't tell the heart who to love. Babs has been in love with Kemi since she was 16, Emeka announced. "So," Remi responded, "is that why he betrayed our friendship?" "He never acted on it. Why do you think they stopped talking after Kemi traveled?" Emeka asked Remi. "I asked him if anything happened with him and Kemi 10 years ago, and he looked me in the eye and lied. That's because nothing happened. Babs has proven himself to be a true friend over the years, and you know it. Kemi is no longer a teenager. She is a full-grown woman and responsible for her actions. It's obvious she loves Babs. If, after 10 years, she's still acting like this, then you should know this is important to her," Emeka announced. "She can be with anybody else but not my friends. Is that how undeserving you think of us? I thought we were friends, and we would stick our necks out for each other, but obviously, I was wrong. It has always been about you, Remi. You don't care about your friends because if you did, you would have known that Babs has been pained since Kemi came back," Emeka announced. "You know that is not true. I care about you both. And yes, we have been through so much together. But I can't accept it," Remi announced. Emeka sighed, sensing the depth of Remi's struggle. He wanted to make Remi understand that relationships, like life, are complicated and don't always follow a script. "Remi, sometimes things change, and we have to learn to adapt. Babs is still the same person you've known for years. If Kemi wants to be with him, why stand in her way?" Remi clenched his fists, torn between his loyalty to Babs and his protective instincts towards his sister. Shalwa watched him. "I know this is hard for you, Remi, but love doesn't always fit neatly into our plans. You may not like it, but respect their feelings," Shalwa added. "Think about it, Rem. Would you rather Babs settle for an unhappy marriage than be happy with Kemi?" "It's getting late, I need to go get my wife." He walked out of the room, leaving Remi with his thoughts. Remi, frustrated and overwhelmed, collapsed onto a chair. "It's true, you know all he said," Shalwa asserted. "Those two are in love. The first time I met Kemi at the party, I could feel the tension between her and Babs. And I was watching them. They couldn't seem to stop gazing at each other. This is ridiculous." "Why so? Kemi is a mature woman, and if you truly care about your friend, this will be the best way to show it." "So, is the wedding postponed?" Shalwa asked. Remi, surprised, asked, "What do you mean, is the wedding postponed?" "Because you always put Kemi first. I don't know if, with all that happened tonight, you are still going ahead with the wedding." Remi stood up and held Shalwa's hands. "How can you even say that? This is our wedding, and I won't allow anyone to disrupt it. I'm sorry if it seems I put my family first. I love you, and you are my number one priority from now on." Okay, I believe you, she replied. I'm sorry if I come across that way, Remi apologized. Shalewa looked into Remi's eyes, searching for sincerity. After a moment, she nodded, accepting his words. Remi breathed a sigh of relief, grateful that she understood. It's fine, you go talk to Babs. I will go be with our guests. Babs hurriedly followed Derin, desperately attempting to explain himself. Listen to me, Derin. Nothing happened, believe me. Derin turned to him and accused. How can you embarrass me this way? You made me a laughing stock amongst your friends. Derin, I'm sorry you walked into that situation, but trust me, it's not what you think. You came out of her room half-dressed. I asked you if you had history, and you said no. Babs sighed, realizing the gravity of the situation and the hurt he had unintentionally caused. I should have been transparent with you, Derin. But I need you to understand that nothing inappropriate happened between Kemi and me. It's not what you think. Derin crossed her arms, her expression a mixture of anger and disappointment. How can I believe you, Babs? I know, and I'm sorry. I messed up, and I should have been more upfront. Kemi and I have a history, yes, but it's complicated. It's in the past, and it doesn't change anything between us. Derin remained silent, processing the information. The tension between them lingered. I'm going to my room, don't follow me. Derin walked away, leaving Babs behind. He felt devastated and couldn't believe the event that unfolded that night. He felt sad and angry that his flesh failed him. He was supposed to be angry with Kemi, but how could he be when he understood why she did it? She seems to be the only one fighting for their love. Babs retreated to his room, seeking solace in prayer, hoping for clarity and understanding amid the emotional turmoil. As soon as Derin reached her room, she placed a phone call. I have the perfect excuse for me to execute our plan. What happened? The person on the other end asked. Derin recounted the events of that night over the phone. Her mysterious confidant on the other end replied, Excellent. Proceed as planned, and keep me updated on any developments. Derin ended the call, a sly smile playing on her lips. She couldn't wait for morning to call her parents, whom she knew would in turn call Babs's parents. It appeared that Babs was in for a rough weekend. Shalewa took a detour to Kemi's room. She knocked gently on the door. Kemi opened. Hi, Kemi. I wanted to check on you to make sure you are okay. Please come in. Kemi invited her in. Shalewa entered the room and noticed it was empty. Where is Leke? Shalewa inquired. He left. Where did you find him? He came to the party asking for you. So I decided to bring him to you. I had no idea the timing was wrong. He came to propose, Kemi announced. I'm sorry, Kemi. It's fine. My answer would have been no. I relocated to New York after completing my studies in the UK because I couldn't bear Remi treating me like a child. I'm a grown woman, and I've been independent for many years. Every time he would show up, trying to run my life, acting like he was my father. You know he does all that because he cares deeply about you, Shalewa informed. Then if he truly cares, he should let me be with whoever I want, regardless of his relationship with a person. I'm tired of his interference. Listen, Kemi. It's a guy thing. It may sound unreasonable, but that's how they feel. He doesn't want you to join Babs' list of conquests. Even now that Babs is a pastor, he still hasn't come to terms with the fact that Babs is not his past. But then Babs is committed to his parents' church. He is their oldest and, therefore, expected to take over from their father. He is duty-bound, and he needs a woman like Derin. Are you ready to be a pastor's wife? As long as I am with Babs, I'm fine, Kemi said dejectedly. That was how I felt about Remi when we first met. I knew I wanted to be with him, even though his reputation preceded him. I didn't mind. I was willing to give it a try. But the moment I noticed he wasn't committed to the relationship, I left. And he didn't come after me. But when we met again last year, he was the one who did all the chasing. And I made sure to give him a hard time. My advice to you is to let Babs go. If it's God's plan for you two to be together, you will find each other. Kemi listened attentively to Shalewa's words. I understand that it's challenging. Kemi, love can be messy, and sometimes we have to make tough choices. Remi may seem overbearing, but his intentions are good. As for Babs, he has his own set of responsibilities and expectations. Kemi sighed, wrestling with the weight of the decisions ahead. I don't want to let Babs go, Shalewa. I love him. I know you do. And love is a powerful force. But sometimes, we have to consider the bigger picture, and whether the timing is right. It might not be the end, just a pause in your journey. As Kemi pondered Shalewa's advice, love, family, and personal aspirations were intertwined. And the choices she made would shape her future in ways she couldn't fully foresee. Remi rapped on Babs's door. Hearing the knock, Babs initially ignored it, wanting to be left alone. However, as the person persisted, he reluctantly opened the door. To his surprise, Remi stood there. What do you want? Babs inquired. Can we talk? You and I have nothing to say to each other. I didn't do anything with your sister. You can ask her, Babs said. I just need to talk. Can I come in? Babs ushered him in, and Remi headed to the bar, pouring himself a drink. I need you to answer a question for me. Are you in love with my sister? Remi demanded. Babs hesitated, not knowing if it was a trap question. It doesn't matter, Derin and I are getting married, and I don't want any distractions. Answer my question, damn it. Remi barked at him. Yes, I am, okay, Babs shouted in response as well. Since when? I don't know. Initially, it was just a feeling that she was special. I can't remember when that feeling changed. But when she was 17, I knew I felt something strong for her. Why didn't you tell me? Remi asked. Are you crazy? Tell you I had feelings for her when you already made it clear what you would do to anyone who tried it. Besides, you're my friend. I couldn't betray you like that. Remi responded, you know the age difference between Kemi and me, and because of that, I always felt protective of her. Also, considering the kind of life we were living, I just didn't want my sister to get hurt. Over the years, I just continued to be like that. It's Emeka who made me see reason tonight. I'm sorry I hit you and made it seem like you are not good enough for her. Babs nodded, acknowledging the complexity of the situation. I understand your concerns for her, Remi, and your desire to protect her. It's not easy to navigate these feelings, especially considering our friendship. I knew things were complicated and I tried to stay away from her. But she is an Olafusi. When you guys want something, you go after it. That's why you guys are so successful in business and career. Babs sighed and continued. It was so easy to fall in love with her. I remember how she used to wrap us around her little finger when she was younger. But in many ways, you two are alike, strong-headed and very daring. Remi chuckled. Babs continued. Do you know I married Laura, my late wife, because she reminded me so much of Kemi? I knew I could never have her, so I had to settle for someone like her. Even though Laura was cool, she wasn't Kemi. When she passed on, I attempted to see Kemi, thinking maybe there could be a way for us to be together. But she refused to see me. She was angry at me. What happened the night before her trip? She came to my room and tried to kiss me. So, she was the one in the room that night. Let me guess, she was hiding in the toilet. Babs chuckled. Yes, she was. But I had already asked her to leave. She was just a child, and you are my best friend. Remi sighed. Do you love Derin? I'm marrying Derin out of duty. My parents believed that when the time came for me to take over the church, I needed a strong woman by my side. Kemi is a believer. She went to church religiously a few years ago. She said that. Can you believe that? Babs chuckled. Yeah, Kemi would probably argue her point of view with Jesus if he were to be in the same room with her. They both laughed. I'm sorry, Babs, and I want you to know if there is anything I can do to get you and Kemi together, I will do it. What did you just say to me? Babs asked incredulously. You have my blessing to be with my sister. Babs was grinning, but after a while, his countenance became sad. Thanks, man, but it's too late. Never say never, Remi replied.